All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another cultural awareness podcast. The only podcast, obviously, that allow you to fly across the world from wherever you are, backseat of your car, maybe your living room, or maybe just doing some work around the house for the year 2024 and getting things done while enjoying your favorite podcast, cultural awareness. Now, my podcast for today is mostly to ask you questions, guys, like because at the beginning of every year we set some new year resolution that we want to go ahead and accomplish. And I was just curious, what resolution did you set for the year of 2023? Think about it for a second. What resolution did you set for that year? Did you set any resolution at all? Did you have goals? Did you write them down? Did you put it on a visual board? Because every single thing that we do, we must put it on a visual board. That is what motivate people. Like me, for example, I'm a kind of a see it and do it type of guy, right? Probably because of playing sport my whole life, we were always put on a schedule. So whenever I put things down like on the schedule, I just go out there, I just go ahead and walk through them like a checklist, right? Oh, I don't know, maybe I gotta go ahead and record this podcast episode, check. I gotta go ahead and maybe bring family to dinner, check. You know what I mean? That is how I function, and they say it works better that way because you write them down. So not only you don't forget, but also you have a purpose for that specific day that you are planning of doing things. So my question again is, what resolution did you take for the year of 2023? Were you able to fulfill them? If not, well, you need to write down the one that you didn't fulfill and plan on doing them this year. Like, for example, I have planned to read like 4 books. I gotta be honest with you. I like reading, but I also got other things going on, right? So I have planned to read 4 books. I read 3.5. And I was so pissed because I didn't finish that. So I said again that this year, I'm going to finish 4, but I think I'm going to finish more than that because the book that I was reading, except for maybe one, most of them were over 200 pages, right? No excuses here. I'm not trying to provide you with excuse that is not in something that I do, but I'm just trying to bring to your attention if you want to have a bigger vocabulary, if you want to learn something new, right? Because every year that passes by, you should aspire to learn something new. If, of course, you want to change something in your life, because don't forget one thing, the only person stopping you is you. Don't forget that the only person stopping you from succeeding is you. And from playing sport and reading books, I have learned quite a few quotes, right? Like, you are either getting better or getting worse. Nothing stays the same. You are either getting better or getting worse because nothing stays the same. So you cannot expect to change your life in 2024 if you don't take out some resolutions, some things that you want to accomplish, some things that you dream about, and make sure that you never dream small. Always dream big. Why? Because by dreaming big, you ever heard that saying, try to reach for the star, like that. If you don't get it, you might at least fall on the moon, right? So it's one of those things where you have to dream big, write them down, take resolution as far as what you want to accomplish. And one of my favorite books that I'm going to recommend you is not that long. It's something you can finish maybe within a month or maybe within 3 weeks, depending on how fast of a reader you are. Is The Power of Habit, right? That book taught me so much, like teaching you how to brush your teeth, for example, with left hand, right? Because they want to break some old habit out of you so that you can have a more fun and challenging, life, and that will hopefully motivate you to go ahead and fulfill some type of dream or some type of goals that you have set for yourself. So go ahead and check that book out. By the way, I don't know, I don't I'm not affiliated with the author or anything like that. Hey, I'm just a small podcast right here trying to get big. So I just recommend that book because I read the book and it's pretty straight to the point. They don't cover you with hundreds and hundreds of pages, so it's straight to the point. You read that book, your life is going to change, especially if you start taking those small habits into step, right? Because the book itself, this is one of my favorite quotes from Bruce Lee that I took from that book, right, is I don't fear a man who have practiced 10,000 kick. I fear a man who have practiced one kick 10,000 times. In other words, repetition make it a habit out of you. We are accustomed to saying repetition makes you perfect. No, repetition make a habit out of you. That is the code, right? So if somebody has practiced a kick 10,000 times, one kick 10,000 times, so obviously one thing he has done is master that kick. So you might be able to practice 10,000 kick, you might be able to practice 10,000 kick once, but the person that have mastered one kick 10,000 times is going to be way ahead, way more striking power, right? Same thing. This new year, 2024, what are your goals? What are your objectives? Have you written them down? Like, I always write mine down. At least I started doing this about 2 years ago, and trust me, when I tell you that it changes life, it does really changes life. Because after obviously most of you guys know I play in the NFL. After I'm done playing, I got a career-ending injury, so I didn't make money like other people make millions. I never made that. So I was undrafted, by the way, starting, did my 3 years in, and my third year contract here, get injured pretty bad, career ending, and here I am on the street trying to figure out how to go about life, right? I sold car, I sold solar panel, and finally got into a tech, which I am right now, where I am right now. So my point is this: without getting into a habit of reading books, getting into a habit of setting goals, getting into a habit of writing them down, writing on the wall, and visualize it every morning when I wake up, like I wouldn't be where I am today, right? Because it changed completely the way you do things. You know how, just by if you put how can I say this? If you take a poor person, you put him around 9 millionaire, you no longer have 9 millionaire, you now have 10 millionaire. But if you put 1 millionaire and put him in in the middle of 9 poor people, you now have 10 poor people, because you gotta also watch who you hang out with, who you talk to, who are the people you follow, who are the mentor you are trying to have. Somebody can be your mentor without knowing that they are your mentor. Like one of the person that I know, may he rest in peace, that I listen to a lot is Jim Rohn. I listen to how he talk about life and how to go from zero to hero about your life and how to change your life, because the only person that can stop you from succeeding is you, right? Don't ever forget that, right? The person that is going to make you great, guess who it is? You already know it, right? It's you. You will be the only person making yourself great. Pick your friends wisely. Make sure you set some goals for the year of 2024, because it's a new year. And by the way, Happy New Year 2024. Go ahead and set your goal. Write them down. Put them on the wall somewhere. Pray on them. If you are a believer, I'm a believer in God. Everything I do, I believe, is by the power and the grace of God. So go ahead, put it into prayer. Put in your prayer, start praying on them, and watch it become true. Learn how to meditate. And if you don't know how to meditate, I really like this book. I know that in some part of the book, you start feeling weird, a little bit like magic, but I really like this book by Jose, I forgot his name, about how to meditate, and I really like the book. Besides the end there, you should read that book. I will go ahead and look for that book and tell you, right? It's a very inspiring book about meditation, how you can visualize things even in your sleep, how you should wake up in the morning, first thing you do is meditate, because you are speaking into existence, right? A lot of people have used that method to go ahead and win the lottery. And that is what it says. A lot of people have used that method to avoid accident, because they start visualizing things and seeing things, because they set objective of having a meditation of 15 minutes a day. Now, I'm not asking you to go too deep, but if you can, go ahead, man. It's going to help you in your life. So This is Cultural Awareness Podcast. We always talk about culture, right? You have to set your goals. Where I come from, I didn't grow up with a habit. I grew up with a habit of praying because obviously we had the enforcer in the house. Shout out to my mom. She was the enforcer. So we would wake up every day at 5 a.m. to pray. Even now, I still wake up at 5 a.m. sometime for no reason. I don't know why. But I think it was a habit, and this is how you really see that there's true power in habit. But my point was, I was never used. Obviously, I was still a kid, but I was never used to go ahead and write down goals that I want to accomplish. Not many people are really, really doing that, right? And when you go now in front of family and you start writing goals like, oh, this is what I'm trying to do, people look at you like you're crazy, yet it works. You know what I mean? My point is, at some time you will feel that once you are becoming somebody, it will feel weird. It will feel like everyone around you is just not understanding you. Don't mind that. Sometimes you have to stay alone for at least 6 months or a year to discover who you truly are. That being said, if this is the first time that you are listening to my podcast, right, feel free to go ahead, like and subscribe. Please share the podcast, because my New Year resolution for this podcast is to post at least minimum 2 episodes a week. 2 episodes a week is the goal. So go ahead, write down your resolution, and throughout the year, revisit them. Visit them every morning. Visit them every month. What is the goal for the month? Like, for example, my goal for this month is to lose 6 pounds. Just 6 pounds, right? Because it should be something that is fairly easy to accomplish. So I'm just going to go ahead and lose 6 to 7 pounds, and then I will wait. Next month I will have a new goal. That being said, thank you for listening to this Cultural Awareness Podcast. Feel free to reach out at 1-814-0978 if you have your story. Like we usually do story of the day. Please go ahead and send it our way, and we will go ahead and talk anonymously on this podcast. That being said, peace and God bless.